Hello, Don in London. My video is all about recovery from addiction to either substance or behaviour. And my substance, alcohol, my behaviour for 35 years, trying to be perfect and far from it, either in work, life, home life, family life, relationships, never perfect, always learning. And probably learning some of the things which, these days learning some of the things which I never really understood too well. And those are my feelings. So when I wake up in the morning these days, I ask myself, before I get too far ahead in the day, how am I feeling, why, and what may I do? So how am I feeling today? Well, I still have a big gap inside me, and that's because the relationship has ended, and I'm hoping that she is okay, and that I will be as time affords. So my primary purpose at the moment is not to fill the gap inside me with other experiences which are not going to help me in the long term. And the easy way to fill in the gap when we've finished one relationship is maybe to idly think we ought to be in another one, or feel we ought to be in another one, or feel we need to go back to the one we were in. And those sort of conundrums can go round and round in one's head. And that means we're just human. We're just human about feeling the loss and grieving a relationship. So we all go through denials around, I can't believe it's like this. It's very frustrating. I could be angry, and sometimes I feel that anger would help me. But I don't feel angry towards the other person in this. I feel like I've let myself down in some way, and that's just me knocking myself down in order maybe to build myself up a bit. And, you know, it's easy to get into a downward spiral. And what I've learned in recovery is it's better to desist from pen and tongue and text messages and doing too much to upset another person who's trying to find their own path. It's hard enough in recovery, and we need not upset others, and we deal with our upset as we may, deal with the gap that's been left, grieve as we may, just one day at a time. So it would be extraordinary to be able to forget and then start again in something new too quickly. So I prefer the gap, and maybe fill it with a bit of reading, which I did this morning, of this book, Alcoholism. And this is the big blue book. It's like it's not a Bible, it's a set of tools, it's a set of writing about tools and instruments of how to keep sober one day at a time. And the most important aspects of this book is understanding the nature of the malady of alcoholism, and then what we may do on a daily basis to keep it in the day and not drinking. And the whole fellowship of AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, is simply about a desire not to drink. And it reads like this on this little card, available at meetings or from other venues if you know where to look, or off the internet. And it says about AA, Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution. It does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And, you know, sobriety is just one day long. As I said yesterday, the life sentence of not drinking is simply one day long. And the gift is, if we stop drinking, we have this other gap inside us, on the emotional and spiritual side, of something to fill with good things, which is the good of life and the good of living, and picking up on interests maybe we've had over the years. And yesterday there were a couple of meetings I went to, one at St. Philip's, which is near Earl's Court, not far away from here, and the other one was in the Boltons. And the lunchtime meeting was all about experience, strength and hope, what a person has done to make their life work. And on this occasion it was about a person who was 20 years sober, who had felt that life had come to an end 20 years ago, and actually finding the fellowship and outside help as well. So it wasn't just the fellowship, it was outside help as well, helped them find a way forward. And in the meetings over the last few days, much has been said about anonymity, and for me anonymity is simply the sanctuary to find our spiritual truth. So spiritual for me is very much about truth, the truth of now, and being in the moment with less denials and less filters. And as one Archbishop said, when asked what is spiritual, he said it's simply the ability to cope with now. So if now is all about reality, we have a better chance on a daily basis to improve our lives. And if we have gaps inside us, emotionally, spiritually, and also with something to do which is useful, then we have opportunity to put ourselves to good use and do something which is valuable to ourselves and to other people. So I've done a bit of reading from AA this morning, The Doctor's Opinion, which I've thoroughly enjoyed reading again, simply because it tells me I have a malady which needs help, and it needs help on a daily basis, or I might slide back into taking drink. If I took drink, what would happen? Life would become unmanageable and very horrible very, very quickly. So I can, at the moment, cope with what is going on for me. And the other books I use on these videos is As Bill Sees It, which I'm back to the beginning of, and the Daily Reflections book, which gives a one-page, one-day reading. So starting off with the Daily Reflections, it says, we pause and ask. As we go through the day, we pause when agitated or doubtful and ask for the right thought or action. So we pause and we stop reacting, we start responding. Today I humbly ask my higher power for the grace to find the space between my impulse and my action, to let flow a cooling breeze when I would respond with heat, to interrupt fierceness with gentle peace, to accept the moment which allows judgment to become discernment, to defer to silence when my tongue would rush to attack or defend. I promise to watch for every opportunity to turn toward my higher power for guidance. I know where this power is. It resides within me, as clear as a mountain brook, hidden in the hills. It is the unsuspected inner resource. I thank my higher power for this world of light and truth I see when I allow it to direct my vision. I trust it today and hope it trusts me to make all effort to find the right thought or action today. And for me, I was at a step meeting last night, and it was all about, came to believe that a power greater than me could restore me to sanity. And, if I can get to the truth without filters or denials, get to the truth. And for me, I have a very practical version of God. God is truth and love, and God works through people. So it's an appeal to good conscience in all of those respects. So I haven't understood it any more than that. And the gift is, we don't have to understand it as you or someone else may understand it. You just understand your own higher power. So nobody's allowed to tell you what your higher power is. You can make whatever it is suit you. And I utilise in the best way the wisdom learned over the years from the fellowship of AA, from medical people around, from my family and society. And we all become unique and authentic in that. And we only have one similarity, and that's a simple desire not to drink. So coming on to As Bill Sees It. It says pain and progress. Yes, pain. I've had some of that this week. Years ago I used to commiserate with all people who suffered. Now I commiserate only with those who suffer in ignorance, who do not understand the purpose and ultimate utility of pain. Someone once remarked that pain is the touchstone of spiritual progress. How heartily we A's can agree with him, for we know that the pains of alcoholism had to come before sobriety, and emotional turmoil before serenity. Believe more deeply, hold your face up to the light, even though for the moment you do not see. And that is so true, because it's taken me a while in recovery just to make sense of being alive, let alone anything else. And the gratitude I have over the last few years to live life without a drink inside me, one day at a time, so I understand my emotional state, my spiritual connection to now, and my physical abilities, capacities and incapacities. And in recovery I've had a few incapacities come my way and disable me from being the person I used to be, quite as I was. And clinical depression and type 1 diabetes are quite difficult on a daily basis, and I do my best. So for me this morning, the Big Blue book, did some reading from that, As Bill Sees It, and just for today. But my clearest message, if any, is that although we call it in the program anonymity is suggested to be the spiritual foundation, I feel it provides sanctuary and the spiritual foundation of life.